from the depth instant tutorial.
How to boat. Well, I'm Eric from Gmodism. This is the Gmodism channels. You are most welcome. This may be your first video that you are watching in From the Depth game, and I'm just going to briefly tell you that you should definitely subscribe to the channel so that you can catch our other tutorials. There is a big playlist of instant tutorials. Those playlists are the most condensed and shortened down. We have some longer tutorials too, but you should probably check them out whenever there is something you don't really know how to do. In our Discord, we have a pretty popular From the Depth channel where you can get a lot of help too. In any case, we should get started. This is supposed to be the first video you ever watched, so we're going to take it very slowly to make your first boat here. So we don't need to care about these settings or anything like that. You will just want to click designer mode. Now designer mode has some different starting platforms. This is my starting platform, which anyone can download also if you want it. But what you basically want to do when you're getting to designer like this is you click escape and you just destroy all vehicles. So you get a clean slate. Then you can click escape again, you can move around and you have your character here. And you may be noticing that you're falling down. So if you click tab, you can be inside your character. If you click tab again, you can move outside it. If you don't want to fall with your character falling down like this, click E and then click E again, and you are having a free cam that's unbound to your character. To build a vehicle, look somewhere in the water/air and click the B key. To not let your block fall down and plop down in the water like this, you can click caps lock. You will make sure it's locked in the air. In this game, there are different building modes. So if you have the key-based system, you can move around by just placing or removing blocks even. And the mouse is just giving you the direction you are looking at. You'll just move around with WASD like this, space, and Alt to go down. You can double tap any key to go fast. It is directional dependent on where you're looking. So I'm just holding W here, right? Then there is the other building mode that is mouse based. You'll just click F3 to switch to this. It has a much similar building way to many other games. Now, please learn the key-based system. The mouse-based system is so much inferior and the key-based system is just so good for this game. You may be unused to the controls at first, but it's much better. To stop building on your boat, click the B key, it falls down. Look at it again, click B again, you can lock it with caps. Now, to all of the blocks. We have so many blocks here, and to cut things a little bit short, wood and alloy are the floaty blocks. So when you're building boats, you want to have it out of alloy and wood to a big part, and then you can have some metal on it too without it sinking. If we just check here, the water area is where all of the different water based blocks are. So here we have your water propellers, sails, rudders, hydrofoils. Here we have a bunch of different types of weapon systems, and we're going to choose one of them. We have dedicated tutorials for that, of course. We have defense. We're not going to go into that much this time. It's not that important here. Sub-objects we will return to a little bit. And down here we have new blueprints. So if you don't want to build a hull for your first ship, you can just take any pre-made hull. And you see this little arrow here? It needs to face forwards towards the front text, otherwise you'll have trouble. And you'll just plonk this down here. And you can actually remove that portion. So now this is your boat. But I want to build my own hull here, so I'm gonna start on a new little project. We're gonna do things very simply here. So we will select a wooden beam like this. We're gonna remove this 1 meter block. It's generally better to use larger blocks, as large as you can, because they have a health point bonus. Now this is the front of the ship, important as said. Watch towards the front and click the N key. Then you will have a mirror. This mirror plane will of course shorten down building time a lot. Now we're going to make a little medium boat here. Like that, and you can see we left some spaces here. Place the block straight like this, watch downwards and click F. This area is now filled. Wood is floaty, as said, it has buoyancy. Metal is not, but metal is much better at protecting us. So we will have a line of metal around this boat to protect us from incoming fire. And when you're selecting blocks here, you want to move them around and do different directions. You select a block like this, and then you will hold the tab. You get all these circles, and they will tell you how to turn the block dependent on how you're looking. So that's correct. So we can do like that, do like that. And here you can see we need to join these corners here. So we need to use another slope here. And now you can see we can't place this block in the air, but if we click backspace, we suddenly can. Now you can see if this is being hit by anything, it would just fall off. So this is just a temporary allowance. But when we plonk it down there, you can see it now works. As said, we can use these of course, but it's better to use larger blocks if we can. So we're switching to the beam slope here, turning it around like this, and trying to make a smooth shape of this ship. From the depth is subject to the laws of hydrodynamics. From the depth they are kind of weak, but they still do work. So make sure that your builds are pointy and sharp if you want them to be fast. Now you should probably check if your boat even floats. And we have a lot of wood and not that much metal, so we have no trouble floating at all. If you have trouble floating, you can always use an air pump. Just place it in there and it will suddenly be very floaty. However, beware that the air pumps, especially on larger ships, does cause a lot of lag, so for larger ships they are never used, or should be used. If you want to be more floaty in a less laggy way, what you can do is just adding some alloy instead. Alloy and wood, as said, are the floaty blocks. You can see blocks armor class, it's 40 and it's 47 here, and that is because it's boosted by the blocks behind of it. So it's usually a good idea to have 2 layers. Having more than 2 layers won't give you additional bonuses though, but that is a general recommendation. If you're confused about words, please watch my dictionary video that goes through all of the useful words that you'll need to know in From the Depth. Now, you may be pretty happy with the shape of your boat and you may not want to lose it. Click the escape button and save vehicle. You can name it whatever you want and save new vehicle as vehicle. Then you can load it from here whenever you need it. If you need to save it again, you'll just save and save over. In From the Depth, there are some different things we need to understand. We need something called engine power and we need something called materials. So if we go into resources, we have material storage, and that is what is material. That's what we need to care about right now. So they have different shapes and forms, they are all the same. Just choose whatever container you like to look at. Now we have 16,000 materials and you can fill them up pressing the Q button in designer mode. Now we need some type of engine power, otherwise we can't move around. To have that, we will select the fuel engines. Now I have a really good tutorial about everything you need to know about fuel engines and how to make them as best as you can. But for this little thing, we're just going to select one of these pre-made fuel engines and we're gonna put it in the back here. I really recommend that tutorial though. Now, fuel engines, they need fuel. So we'll go into the resources tab and select the fuel. If you look at the fuel here, you can see 500 mats extractable as fuel per minute. We estimate you require a maximum of 2.5. So yeah, we'll need a couple of more of these, right? Now we have some engine power, so we can add our basic propulsion. If you click the middle mouse button, you get to this beautiful little menu, and here, if you right-click this, you'll get a mirror mode in the center. Very handy. Here I just added these hydrodynamically so they don't cause more drag than they need to. And we'll go to water tab and we're gonna have huge propellers, 2 of them like that. They will need to go to side, so we're going to add a rudder to this boat, turning it around like that and that. If your rudder is reversed, you can reverse the input inside of here like this, if that is a problem you'll have. We need to control this boat a little bit here, so we're going to start with some manual control. We have a share. The articulated share lets you not move around very much, which makes it more stable. And then we have a ship's wheel or a vehicle controller. Everything is fine. So how do we use this boat? Well, if you hold you will move around like that, and the boat is now going away. If you want to lock onto the boat with your camera, you can use shift and caps lock to lock on. You can otherwise just be in build mode and you will be on the craft, or you can click tab and be inside of your character, click tab again and move around. It's only when you double click E that you will be detached. So our boat is now moving, isn't that quite nice? Let's use the maximum speed. You can see the main drive in the lower right corner. We are having a good speed of 30 meters per second. H key, you can see we can turn as well. Very nice. If you want to stop the boat, click U and J at the same time and you will have no drive. And you don't have to use rudders if you want to turn and move around. You can actually use propellers as well. So I just add this here and we go to water and we're going to select the small propeller. If you want to have this thing aim the direction you're looking at, you're just clicking the G key and it will aim the direction you are looking at like that. Very nice. If you want to select a block you're hovering over, you can click R key and you can get that block. Anyways, you can't block propellers outputs because then you can see not enough free room behind. So here you can see this little propeller. If you go into it, it's set to automatic control. Now if you leave everything at automatic control, it usually just works, but personally I think automatic control messes things up a lot of the time. So I will select manual control and I actually want to turn off automatic control for all propulsion. So then we need to set up everything manually. So if we click Turner preset there and Turner preset there and see, yeah, they're all Turner presets and they're green. That means that they are the right way around. So if I do like this, you can see we are now turning sideways like that. And if I go back here, I'll need to make sure they are set to pusher preset and pusher preset. That means they will respond to the command they were before. That means that they are working as propulsion. Sometimes the pre-selection for the manual control is wrong and it may think it's a pitcher or a roller or something like that. Now, for many boats, you probably want to have a manual control sometimes and an automatic control at other times. To have that ability, we'll need to add something that gives us a stabilization for manual control and automatic control, and that is PID general purpose. We're gonna have two of them. Inside of it, we will set propulsion pitch, check this box, and input signal will be pitch. The other one will be propulsion roll and the input will be roll. And we can leave them as is for now. Now what we need to do is to add some stabilization. And we're gonna have some circular propellers here and here. And these are set to pitcher presets, which is nice. And we're going to have here and there, and they are pitcher and they are pitcher. Then we're going to go to around the middle of the boat where we expect the center of mass to be later. Now the center of mass is a little bit to the right, but it's not going to be after some time. And now we need to check roller preset and roller preset. And the same on this side, roller preset and roller preset. Right, so when we put this boat down into the water, they will already start working and make sure that we are stable and nice. So what you can do is basically go around here and the propellers will actually try and keep the boat level. If the effect of the stabilization is a little bit too weak, you can go in here and you can increase the gain to something more appropriate. Test around with different values and see what works the best. Then you should have a stabilized control, so you can go left and right and move about with your boat and still being pretty stable. Now this is done easily with the AI as well. Problem is when you do it with the AI only, when the AI is not controlling the ship, it's also not going to stabilize it. That's the problem. That's why we need to add these. About that, it's time to add the AI. And the AI we can find on the AI tab, and we're going to select a little preset here. So we're just gonna select the medium little preset, place it down here. Now this is a wireless transmitter to other block. This is the main frame. And here we have aim point selection cards and AI routine cards. Now it's not set up yet, so we can move around and add some cool stuff here. And here on the aim point selection card, you can see we have some different values. This ship is going to target the thing with the most firepower as for now. And here we can make it target, for example, blocks above water. Maybe our weapons aren't very well designed to shoot at underwater. Different settings there. Anyways, we go into the AI, or click the C menu and click on the AI here. So we're gonna add a behavior here. A lot of ships use broadside 2.0. Some are pointing at, and very many ships are using circle at distance. So we're gonna set our combat distance here when it's gonna engage in combat. And here you can see the max roll to target. This should be 0 if we want to be a stable ship. And we should ignore altitude, because circle at distance can be used for aircraft as well, of course. Under adjustments, we are setting this as on water. We're gonna make sure it doesn't collide with anything by leaving the settings as is. And this vehicle is a sea vehicle. It probably needs at least 19 meters or whatever of depth, otherwise it will not work. And if you set that to 0, it might run into the ground and destroy itself. Turning circle, probably a little more, I don't know, 160 meters sounds about nice. Right, now we can go to maneuver. We're gonna add a maneuver. This is a ship or tank. Under here, we should use pitch controls and set the idle pitch angle to 0. And if we want to change the AI PIDs, we can do it here, but the general PIDs we already added are actually overriding these values, but they kind of look the same in the setup. And you can name the AI. This is, for example, Montrose 3rd Class your name, because maybe you are joining the army of Gmodism by self-assigning that role in the Discord. Well, then you can. Here we have it. Now, when we are not controlling this ship, we can see that the AI has already taken over control. We can then take over the ship and use it whenever we want to, and the AI is going to take over as soon as we let go of our controls. Even if we have an AI, our AI is basically incapable of doing much because it can't detect the enemy. So, to detect the enemy, we are going to add some type of detection systems. We're just gonna do a little simple tower where we're gonna have some AI connectors, and these are just connective pieces. Under that, we're gonna have a wireless receiver. This will be connected up automatically to this thing, the wireless transmitter. So we can have a piece of AI up here as well. Now, there are so different type of detection components you can use, but the most important thing you definitely want is the laser rangefinder and a 360-degree camera. That's the most important one. To get some extra accuracy, it can be a good idea to have a camera or tele gimbal tracker. Then we're gonna do this little weird thing here where we actually build up like this, and on top of it we can add a radar. And you might think, doesn't the radar, we're gonna have the 360 radar, doesn't the radar block the view of the camera? No, because the camera is looking in this direction exactly and this direction exactly. Yeah, and even if this is here, it's not actually blocking any of the view. I know, it's weird, it's just how it works. So now we have some decent detection. Different detection components are using different amount of general processing power. Please refer to my dictionary video. But in any case, to cut things short, these use GPPP, and if you have too little GPPP, the detection will be very inefficient, and to get more GPPP, you'll add general processing cards. They're expensive. Now we have a cool looking boat, but we obviously need some kind of firepower, right? And we're going to go to simple weapons. Here we get some basic firepower. The Age of Sail cannons together with a laser and a shard cannon. These AA guns and the 40mm ones here, and the 30 and the 60mm cannon, they're really simple, you don't need to configure anything. So we can just add one of these in the back as some type of extra AA cannon. Now, to make this even work, we need to have something called a local weapon controller. To make your life easy, just select the all-in-one local weapon controller. if you go into this, you can select that, for example, have some limitations. This is not going to be able to shoot at things underwater, so we might set it to not target that. And it's probably not going to reach more than like 2000 meters or whatever, so we can set it at that. Other than that, this is absolutely fine and should be working. We now have a working gun. And if I walk to this gun, I can actually control it. And shooting it by holding control. However, to use guns, we need something called ammunition. If you don't have ammunition, the ammunition tab is going to go down and you are going to not be able to fire for a while. So you'll just add some ammunition here. You can see that our weapons require 19 and we now have 1200. But we're gonna add some more weapons so they can be here for the time of being. Do know that these are pretty explosive. If they got damaged, they will blow up pretty spectacularly, so don't put them too close to anything that's very important. About that, our boat was a little bit destroyed here. If you want your boat to repair itself, go down to miscellaneous and select repair bot. You can add a couple of repair bots here. Don't have too many, but maybe 2 or 3 is an appropriate amount. And if we destroy something here, you can see that the repair bots, they come flying and they will repair the damaged. Also, your character is equipped with repair tentacles. To be able to manually control guns without walking up to them and controlling them because they are near, go to control and select a fire control computer and just have it close by to the bridge. And when you have that, you can control all the guns. To make a little bit of a more fancy cannon, we go down to sub-objects and we select a one-axis turret here. We can plonk it down here, and this is a different object. So when we're building on this, we can't build on the floor here. So if we want to build on this, we click B and click B again. And if we want to build on this, we look at it, click B, and we can build on it. On this thing, we can also place an all-in-one local weapon controller, and then we can have some weapon systems. Onto this thing, we can even use some prefabs. Now I'm going to use my prefabs here. All the commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism have access to all of my prefabs and whatever if they want to use them. A lot of them are of course uploaded on the Steam Workshop, where you can get many of them as well. Anyways, I'm just going to add a quick little cram cannon here. It's kind of not what this video is exactly about, but we'll need something here. Now we can see we ran out of materials because it's tried to reload. We can make sure, yeah, we have enough ammo. Good. Protecting your turrets with some armor is of course a smart idea. And there we have that. We're gonna add some missiles to complement. So we have a fly swatter interceptor array. We can use this little prefab, and this is going to add some interceptor missiles, which is going to target incoming missiles and cram shells and hopefully shoot them down. We're also going to add some extra cluster VLS missiles, because why not? Right, so I think we have a pretty solid setup here. This boat has everything it needs to have, which means we of course need to finish up this armor a little bit. And we can fill here and fill there. Protect them here. Add some nice wind protecting glass, very important. So you may see that we have been a little bit careful at covering up this, and that is because you can go down here. This is a D11 turret. This is kind of the pattern where the turret will be blocked or not, where the alloy represents the turret and the metal represents the hull of the ship. So we'll need to leave that space to not make it collide. Basically like this and like that. That's as tight as we can do it. We of course need to add the glorious flag of the Army of Gmodism, which is flag post. I have some other videos showing you how to get your own flags from the depth. Here we go, very nice. You can also select the color here, and when you're building, you can even build with your fleet colors. This is what I usually do, but if you want to, you can also color this afterwards. So for example, I can paint it like this. If you want to test your ship, you can click the X menu, and it's a tradition that we always test everything against a marauder. And the missiles are getting there. This is so funny. And there, isn't that quite beautiful? Alright, look at that. Oh, that was totally over-penetrating. Well, enjoy your first ship. Your ship should be absolutely functional. And if you're not happy with what the AI is doing, you can always take over the control yourself. Ram! Army of Gmodism, Invictus. Victory is ours! Yeah, so enjoy and do whatever you want with this, as long as you're doing it for the Gmodism Empire. This is your host Eric of Gmodism, and I thank you very much for watching. I'm signing out, and you should definitely like the video. Check out my other channels. With the Gmodism we have some 24/7 entertainment, relaxism, relaxing videos. Here on Twitch we have some live builds and stuff. Here we have the commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism if you want to become one. Also, in the ecclesiarchy you can get early access to any video. Just join the channel and you'll see what it's about. This is your host signing out. See you in the Discord maybe.